Linda Patten, chartering a club in an hour. Chartering a club in an hour, Linda Patten.
Thank you so very much. And Ellen, your impact was just exactly what I needed. Charter a club in an hour? That's what I said. That's impossible. You can't possibly charter a club in an hour. And that's what my project was all about, was how do we make that happen? Cassandra Cockrell created a template that could be used to do that. And she was amazing. She was one of the few district directors who actually was a presidential district director. And that was amazing. So we took a video that we found of her process. And with my team, I had two people on my high performance leadership team, and that was Ashley Harkness and Jeff Young. And the two of them, two very, very different personalities, were really great at helping me to fine tune what she had done and to bring it up to today and what we can do both on Zoom and also in person. But still, I said to myself, charter a club in an hour? I mean, we can do a program in an hour, but charter a club? I mean, there's just so much that has to go on. Well, so I'm going to give you sort of the who, what, where, when, and extent of chartering a club in an hour. Who? First of all, you have to make sure, first of all, we did most of these with corporate clubs. So we had to have a corporate sponsor. Well, who do you go to? You go to the HR director. The HR director says, well, that's great, but I don't have any money. And so we started looking at how can we put it into the training budget. Ooh, that would make some sense. Then we looked, do you have an SVP, a senior vice president, who might also be interested in having his or her people to speak better, to be better salespeople, whatever it might be? Ooh, they said yes. Took a little bit of convincing, but they still said yes. So the who was who in the organization do we need to connect with? And when we connected with the right people, we got the clubs chartered. So what is it? What was the program going to be? How were we going to show these people what a Toastmasters Club meeting looked like, felt like, sounded like? And so we put together a 45-minute program. And we had top-notch people come in. We only did one speech, but it was all about, why am I still a Toastmaster? Similar to what Beth did. Why am I still here? What was it that brought me in? And we walked through a meeting just as though it were a Toastmasters meeting. But we did at least two things before that. One was we sent out a sheet saying, if you could get these things, which one would be the most important piece of value to you from this meeting? You know, is it learning how to speak? Is it learning how to use gestures? Is it you finding my why? What is it? Why would I want to come to a meeting like this? And we had them check that off and bring it with them. And then we made sure that everyone knew why the meeting was happening. The fact that we were working to charter a club within that organization. We had all of the roles. So we had a timer, we had an evaluator, we had a speaker, we had a Toastmaster, we had a table topics master. Now, what do you think we're going to do with table topics? Well, what we did with table topics was we took that sheet that they'd filled out and they checked things off, and we would call on people and say, so what was the one thing that you wanted to get out of a Toastmasters meeting? And they shared for 1 to 2 minutes on what they hoped to get from being a Toastmaster. They sold themselves. We didn't have to sell them on Toastmasters because we could show them that what they wanted from a Toastmasters meeting was exactly what we were going to be able to provide for them. And they were all like, you can do that on a weekly basis? The answer is yes, we can make that happen on a weekly basis. So when did this all occur? Well, we had to have at least a core number of people. I mean, you're supposed to have 20 people when you charter a club. We wanted at least 15 people in the room and 5 that just couldn't make it, but they would later. If we got that, we would go through 45 minutes of a Toastmasters meeting. We only had one speaker. We had our table topics, and I told you what that was all about. We had evaluators. Yes, we got evaluated for those speeches. We had a timer. And then at the end of the program, we broke it out into, okay, so what's the name of your club? When is it going to meet? Where is it going to meet? Who's going to be the president? This was something else that we asked them to think about before they came in. If you were offered a position in leadership in this Toastmasters Club, which one would you like? Do you know that we got volunteers for every one of the roles? Somebody said, yeah, I'll be president. I'll be VP membership. Now, they didn't have to worry about treasurer because the corporation dealt with the treasury, and so did the HR department. So no problems there. But we had our core leadership. We knew when they were going to start. We knew when their meetings were going to happen. They had a mentor. They had a coach. They had a sponsor. All people who were seasoned Toastmasters and were willing to help them to succeed. Now, we built a coaching program for our coaches so that they knew each week what they were going to teach their club about Toastmasters and what they were going to teach them for the next speech. And we had people scrambling to sign up for speeches. There was never any question that these people were motivated, that they were going to do what it took to be a successful Toastmasters Club. And we stayed with them for 6 months and were sure that they were solid. Have we revised it? Yes, we have. Every time we do a new one, we add things, we take things away, we have optional things that people can do, but it worked. I chartered 4 clubs that year, and we didn't start till the middle of the year. Jeffrey's chartered 4, and he's got at least 2 more in the bag. We did it, and all because we had a plan, we worked the plan, and it worked. Back to you, Madam Toastmasters.